Sayadaw explained that people who are not familiar with Satipatthana meditation throughout their life, because they are not acquainted with Satipatthana meditation, they do not know the truth and they are knowing wrongly. In this way, there will be wrong knowing, there will be ordinary greed, there can also be extreme lobha, extreme greed, there can be ordinary anger as well as extreme form of anger. And the internal enmity, which are the kilesa defilements, have been having victory on these people who do not practice Satipatthana meditation. When one indulges in these defilements, one commits wrongdoing by body, speech and mind, and their life will be ruined. So the defilements that are ruining one's life, one should be repelling, one should be removing, one should have victory on these defilements which are ruining one's life. In order to have victory on these defilements, Buddha gave weapons, powerful weapons of Viriya, Sati and Samadhi, effort, mindfulness and concentration. By making use of these weapons of Viriya, Sati, Samadhi, these weapons will become more and more effective. In order to use these weapons of Viriya, Sati and Samadhi, one should be observing bodily movements, one should be observing with sustained mindfulness. Observing these bodily actions with sustained mindfulness, one will know the true nature of nama, rupa, mentality and materiality, and one will be developing knowledge stage by stage. When one develops knowledge stage by stage, not knowing will be dispelled. Knowing wrongfully will also be dispelled. So in this way, one will remove wrong knowing and not knowing by developing knowledge. So in order to uproot these defilements, one should make use of the weapons of Viriya, Sati, Samadhi and Panya. The more one uses these weapons, the more powerful these weapons will become. And in order to make use of the weapons, one has to practice according to the teaching, Kaye Kayanupassi Viharati. And in order to define this phrase, Kaye Kayanupassi Viharati, it is defined as Adapi Sambhajano Satima. So in the phrase Kaye Kayanupassi, there is the word Anupassana. And if one changes this word Anupassi into a noun, it will become Anupassana. Anupassana means observing repeatedly over and over again when the bodily actions arise. With the word Anupassana, meaning observing repeatedly, one shows the Kammatthana. And with the word Atapa, Atapa means ardent effort, which is also Sammapadana, the supreme effort. In order to know the truth, one should practice diligently with ardent effort. And Satima means that the noting mind sinks into the object of meditation. The noting mind is close with the object of meditation, and the noting mind sinks into the object of meditation. When the mind sinks into the object of meditation, one's mind will not be agitated by these defilements, and thus the mind will be calm and collected. When the mind is calm and collected, there will be samatha. So by developing sati, by developing mindfulness, the noting mind will stick onto the object, and thus the mind will be calm and collected. When the mind is calm and collected, there will be samatha, in other words, samadhi, concentration will be developed. Sampajano, in the word sampajano, the word sampajanya means Vipassana. Vipassana means knowing outstandingly. And the word abhijja, domanassa vinayena, shows the benefit of satipatthana practice. When noting the presently arising object with effort and sustained mindfulness, the mind will fall calm and collected on the object, and thus one will know the truth, and also one will get the benefit, such as removing the ill will, anger, and so on. So the word abhijja domanassa vinayena is the benefit of Vipassana practice. The word kammatthana is made up of two parts, kamma and thana. Kamma means action, and thana means the place, the dwelling place. Here it means pavadithana, the place where the action dwells, or the place where the action is situated. So here the bodily actions are where the action is situated, and the one who practices Vipassana meditation is observing the new objects such as rising and falling of the abdomen. One should exert effort so that the noting mind should fall onto the object of meditation. One should exert 3 stages of effort: initial effort, step-up effort, effort stage by stage until one reaches one goal. So kammatthana means the object where one's effort takes place. And kammatthana here means the new objects which are rising, falling of the abdomen, and so on. When the object, such as rising, falling, arises, one should put effort so that the noting mind will reach the object of meditation. And the object of meditation, rising, falling, is the place where the exerting effort is dwelling. So kammatthana means workplace. The work means exerting effort, and the place being rising, falling, which are the objects. So here kammatthana means the place where one works, the place where one exerts effort in the practice. In another way, kammatthana is made up of 2 parts, kamma and thana. Kamma here means exerting effort. When the object arises, one should exert effort continuously so that the noting mind falls on the object of meditation. One should be active, alert, and ready to note the presently arising object, and one should put one should exert effort continuously. The place where the effort takes place is called Thana. Thana is the place where the benefit takes place. So the arising of the benefit is based on exerting effort, and by exerting effort, one gains benefit. So that's why Viriya, effort, is the cause for the effect to arise, and the effects are based on effort. So when the objects arise, yogis should exert effort so that the noting mind will stick onto the object of meditation. When sati, samadhi and panya, when mindfulness, concentration and wisdom arises, the noting mind is sustained onto the object. The mind falls calm and collected on the object. One's mind will be free from hindrances such as kama chanda. Being free from these hindrances, there will be happiness and peacefulness. Such kind of peacefulness, such kind of happiness excels many times than the worldly happiness, and that's why the happiness gained through practice is called sukha visesa, which means outstanding happiness. It is not so much outstanding yet at this stage, but it is quite outstanding. When Viriya, Sati and Samadhi, when effort, mindfulness and concentration become strong, knowledge will be developed, and defilements such as raga, dosa has no chance to arise on the object that is effectively noted, and thus there will be peace and happiness. Viriya, effort, blocks the path of defilement. Sati, mindfulness, guards and protects the mind so that defilements cannot enter the mind. Samadhi, concentration, unifies the mind so that the mind will not be distracted or scattered. Developing knowledge, one discerns the truth, and one will know distinctly. And when this happens, there can be happiness such as paviveka sukha, vipassana sukha, and so on. At the stage of udiyabhaya jnana, knowledge into fast arising and passing away of objects, there will be happiness that excels so many times than the worldly happiness. At the stage of sankharupika jnana, there will be great peace and tranquility. And when one attains Ariya Magga jnana, path knowledge, one attains cessation. And such kind of happiness are called sukha visesa, outstanding happiness. When one attains Ariya Magga jnana, path knowledge, one is said to be visesadikama. Visesadikama means gaining supramundane knowledge. So when one practices, one uplifts oneself from low knowledge to high knowledge, and knowledge will be developed stage by stage. And developing knowledge, one gains happiness that excels many times than the worldly happiness. Kammatthana here means the thing where the happiness is situated. So one should exert effort so that the noting mind will fall onto the object of meditation, and this will be the cause to attain happiness. Buddha guarantee that by practicing Vipassana meditation, one can get benefits such as purification of the mind and so on. And it is said that Sunyakaram Pavitasa, when one goes into a secluded place where there is quietness and practice, in order to remove the defilements, one practices diligently, continuously, and one discerns distinctly between mind and matter, cause and effect, and the characteristics of impermanent suffering and non-self. When the noting mind falls on the object of meditation, one comes to know the bhava lakkhana, unique individual characteristics, and then one go on to know the samanya lakkhana, common characteristics. When one sees these characteristics, there will be amanusirati, the kind of happiness that human happiness, worldly happiness cannot even match. The worldly happiness means seeing good things, hearing good sounds, and so on, and such kind of happiness are connected with sense objects. People are taking pleasure in seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, and so on, and such are called human happiness or the worldly happiness. But the kind of happiness that can be gained through peacefulness, gained through practice, excels so many times than the worldly happiness. That's why it is said amanusirati. It means the kind of happiness one gains through peacefulness and joy by practicing meditation excels so many times than the worldly happiness. Rati means the happiness that can be obtained by developing the mind and the knowledge, and such kind of happiness cannot be matched. By gaining knowledge, by developing the kind of mental state that should be developed, one gains knowledge, one's mind will be developed, and also there will be sukha visesa, outstanding happiness, the outstanding happiness that the worldly happiness cannot match. So at this stage, happiness will arise in great momentum, and this kind of happiness is unique kind of happiness. The worldly happiness one gains by seeing, hearing, tasting, touching, and so on. One becomes very used to it, so one has to change the object, one has to change and see better things, hear better sounds, and so on. So one has to keep on changing so that one will not feel bored by seeing, hearing. But the kind of Dhamma happiness, it is very unique. One does not have to change. One will not get bored. So that's why Dhamma happiness is very unique. It will be ever new to the yogi. So Rati here is the kind of happiness one gains by developing knowledge and the mind. And this kind of happiness gained through practice is very unique and unrelinquishable. So Kammatthana here means that yogis, when they are practicing, observing the rising and falling of the abdomen continuously, they will gain benefit, and also they gain joy and happiness. Atapena Samapatana. With the word atapa, one mentions the supreme effort, the ardent, diligent effort. There are 4 kinds of supreme effort. The first one is one makes effort so as to prevent unwholesomeness that has not arisen. And the second one is exerting effort so that the kind of kilesa similar to the one that has arisen will not arise again. So it's a way of preventing and curing by being mindful. So it is necessary to prevent so that the illness will not arise, and if the illness arises, one should take necessary measures in order to cure the illness. In the same way, one should prevent unwholesomeness from arising, and when this unwholesomeness arises, one should remove it right away by being mindful. And the other 2 is to exert effort so as to develop wholesomeness that has not arisen. And the 4th one is to exert effort so that the arisen wholesomeness will increase, will be cultivated. So one needs to exert effort in such a way that let only the muscles or the sinews left, let the flesh dry up. I will not give up until I reach the goal. Atapa means ardent effort in order to dry up the kilesa moisture. Having atapa effort, one can heat up the kilesa moisture so that kilesa moisture will be dried. Without effort, there will be kilesa moisture in one's life. It will be heavy. And one will have defilement on seeing, hearing. So based on the objects that arrive at the 6th sense door, kilesa moisture will enter. When kilesa moisture enters, it will be heavy. It will not be light or active, but it will be heavy. So Charity gives an example. If a person wears heavy clothes, it will be very heavy. In the same way, when there is kilesa moisture, defilement moisture, it will be very heavy. That's why one needs to heat up kilesa moisture so that it will be dry, active and light again. In order to dry up kilesa moisture, one needs to exert ardent effort. One should not be sluggish, slow or lazy, or withdraw from the practice. One should not be gazing, withdrawing. One should exert ardent effort so as to dry up kilesa moisture so that it will not be heavy, and it will take Samabhadana Viriya, supreme effort, in order to dry up kilesa moisture. Does not mean thoughtful or wrongful recalling or remembering. Sati here means mindfulness, the mindfulness that can guard or protect the mind so that kilesa defilement cannot enter the mind. So there should be outstanding mindfulness. Having outstanding mindfulness, kilesa defilement has no chance to arise. By mentioning sati, samadhi, concentration is automatically included. Sampajanya here means Vipassana, outstanding knowledge, knowing distinctly on these nama and rupa. And one should have outstanding mindfulness, one should have outstanding effort, one should exert ardent effort continuously. Whenever these objects arises, one should note continuously without failing, without missing. When the yogi can note these objects without failing, without missing, the person is called satima, the one who possesses outstanding mindfulness. When there is sustained mindfulness, whenever the object arises, the noting mind pierces into the object, the noting mind falls calm and collected on the object, the noting mind sits onto the object, and thus samadhi, concentration, develops. By noting continuously on these objects, there will be sustained mindfulness, and because of sustained mindfulness, khanika samadhi, momentary concentration, develops. It is due to sustained mindfulness that the khanika samadhi, momentary concentration, develops. When there is Viriya sati samadhi, when effort, mindfulness and concentration becomes strong, one discerns mind and matter, one knows the object clearly, distinctly, in a clear-cut manner, and one also comes to know cause and effect, and also the characteristic of impermanent suffering and non-self. When the person discerns the characteristics of impermanent suffering and non-self, the person has developed Vipassana jnana, insight, knowledge. In the Satipatthana Sutta, there is the word sampajanya. Janya means knowing, and sa means correctly, completely in every way. It is the knowledge not gained through reading or from teacher, but it is gained through personal experience. Sa here means by oneself. So sampajanya means knowing correctly, completely by oneself. It is not the kind of knowledge that is confused. Pa here means distinctly, in a clear-cut manner. People who are intellect, they have a kind of knowledge, but the kind of knowledge gained through practice is different from the kind of worldly knowledge. So sampajanya means knowing correctly, distinctly, outstandingly, or knowing completely, outstandingly, in every way, or knowing distinctly, outstandingly by oneself. So the people, the yogis who practice diligently, when there is sustained mindfulness, when khanika samadhi, momentary concentration, becomes strong, yogi will know in this way. When one exerts effort, there will be sustained mindfulness on whatever object that arises. When there is sustained mindfulness, the noting mind will sink into the object, the noting mind sticks onto the object, and thus khanika samadhi, momentary concentration, will develop. When khanika samadhi, momentary concentration, becomes strong, there will be sampajanya, there will be knowing correctly, distinctly, outstandingly by oneself. And one will be developing knowledge stage by stage, until the knowledge becomes matured. And Saraji will continue to explain the next day at 6 p.m. Today Saraji has some important things to do. That's why Saraji has to change the Dhamma talk time. But tomorrow Dhamma talk will be resumed at 6 p.m. as usual. Sadhu, sadhu.